This is the Bates Bobcast, our weekly podcast where we take a look at the week that was in Bates athletics. My name is Aaron Morse, and this week we are previewing the skiing and indoor track and field seasons. Plus, our Bobcats of the week come from the basketball teams. The women and the men both picked up big NESCAC wins Saturday against Colby. All that and more coming up on the Bates Bobcast. Since our most recent episode of the Bobcast, the basketball teams have played a combined total of 8 games. The men dropped a pair of games at the Tournament of Heroes in Staten Island, while the women split a pair of contests at Springfield College's Naismith Classic. The women hosted number 1 nationally ranked Bowdoin on Friday and gave the undefeated Polar Bears one of their bigger challenges of the season, holding Bowdoin to a season-low 65 points. Although they fell to the Polar Bears, the women earned their first conference win of the season the following afternoon against Colby. Down by 8 through 3 quarters, the Bobcats rallied and outscored Colby 19-4 in the fourth quarter to prevail 54-47. After the game, we caught up with senior captain Erika Lamere. Tell me the offensive rebound you got late in that game, right? I think it was a shot by McVeigh that went off the rim and you surged in for the rebound. Seems like you're getting a lot of those. What's your mentality like on offense?
On offense, it was a really close game at the end, and we knew we just had to do whatever we had to do to win, and I knew that I was going to crash every board. If it wasn't going in, I was getting it. So that was kind of my mindset there.
For sure. Senior captain, you're, I think, the lone senior on the team, right? What's that dynamic like with all these first years coming in and you being the leader out there on the court?
It's been really fun. I give so much credit to all my underclassmen, all my freshmen. They've been stepping up in such huge ways. It's been fun to kind of be able to lead them a little bit, kind of show them, what it takes to play with heart, what it takes to compete in this league, and we're there now, and I'm just so excited for the rest of the season.
I know you've battled injuries throughout your career. What's it mean that you'd be starting in key NESCAC games like this as a senior?
It means the world to me. I'm ecstatic. That's all I got. I don't know.
Well, in this game, Colby ends the third quarter on a big run, right? What's the mentality going into the fourth quarter? Because you had outplayed them for most of that third, and they ended on that run like that, but then you dominated the fourth.
Right. Coach just kept telling us, every game we go into, prepare that victory speech, and that's what she said to us at the end of the third. We were down a little, but she was like, keep preparing that victory speech, like, we're going to get this, and everyone believed in it, and we got it done.
Erika Lamere, thanks so much.
Thank you.
First-year Meghan Graff matched her career high with 17 points in Bates' win on New Year's Day over Newberry. She followed that up by scoring 12 points against Bowdoin on Friday. Then she matched her career high again with 17 points in the Bobcats' win over Colby. 7 of those 17 points came in the fourth quarter. And Meghan Graff is our female Bobcat of the week. You'd already played Bowdoin earlier in the year at their place, and they came in on Friday, and you held them to their season low in points. Obviously, you want to win the game, but how much of a confidence boost in that performance set up for the next day?
I think it just showed as a team, the ability and potential we have just to, play a good, solid basketball game throughout the season a lot. We focused a lot on just playing a full basketball game, not just playing a half or, only a quarter, because that, we were struggling with that, obviously. And we struggled with that against Bowdoin the first time we played them. So just, being able to put together a full game really allowed us to just see the potential we have as a team and how good we can be, and that kind of translated into the Colby game as well.
What was it like playing against your former high school teammate there, Maddie Hassen?
It was definitely, I played against her the first time we played them, but it was different because a lot of the things we went over about what her tendencies were. I recognized that from high school. Yeah. And just she scores a lot of points, and in high school I was the one passing her the ball, so it was just a little bit different. But you always say when you cross the lines there's really no friends during a basketball game or even during practices or anything. So we're both really competitive people and basketball players, so I think we were kind of in the zone. Our mindset was focused on just playing basketball and not really the friends aspect. But it's a really nice thing to be able to share just and to remember playing against one of your good friends and old teammates.
Was there any extra talking going on because you're friends or no?
No, I think we're both just so competitive. So, like, both of us just want to win so badly. Yeah. I, think, we're pretty similar basketball players when it comes to, having the same mindset during games and stuff. So, we didn't talk during the game. Maybe I said a few things that was foul. But, yeah, no, we talk after the game, but usually during the game it's strictly basketball. Right. Yeah.
And then the Colby game. I mean, wow. You're first of all, you caught up in the third quarter, but then they got those 8 points at the end. So you're down by 8 going to the fourth quarter. What was going through your mind heading into the fourth there?
Before the game, we talked about it and we said we played a great game against Bowdoin, but we can't just be satisfied with that. We have to understand that this is still going to be a hard game to win. We're going to have to work hard. Nothing's going to come easily. And so we kind of struggled during the first half, and during halftime, we just said losing isn't an option. It's only winning. And before that game, we had this quote. We always have quotes and stuff, and one of it was always plan to have a victory speech, and that was just kind of our mindset. It was only gonna we were walking out of the gym with a win, and that was in everyone's head. It just wasn't an option to lose, and we all just wanted to win so badly.
Tell us about your senior captain, Erika Lamere, and I understand she gives some good speeches.
Oh, I can't even begin to start with how great her speeches are. She's just obviously the one lone senior on the team. She takes on a pretty big leadership role, especially just because we're such a young team too. It's not even one senior, a bunch of juniors. It's one senior, 2 juniors. So, and one of them's hurt right now. But she just takes on the role, she embraces it, and she just steps up when she needs to. I mean, we've been struggling, obviously, the past few games with just winning and, I said, playing a full game. And she just is so, she tells us to play with heart, and everything she says, she demonstrates too. It's it's not just she just says it and she doesn't do it either. What she says, she does too, and that supports it. And I think it kind of just allows the team to buy into what she's saying too, just because she's such a hardworking basketball player and just a great leader on the team. She definitely has such a impact.
So that fourth quarter, you outscored Colby 19-4. Mm-hmm. What was really clicking? I mean, you hit some threes, you drove to the hoop, got an and one. I mean, it seems like everything could have gone right. It did.
Yeah, I just think it was this in our head, it just wasn't an option to lose. It was only winning, and it there wasn't any other way we were gonna go down. And I think we all just wanted it so badly. The momentum was going our way, our shots were falling, and that just that made us just want to work harder and harder, score more, and just not back down. At all. And I mean, it was alumni weekend, so all the alums were there, and we always talk about alumni magic. And it just it was there. The atmosphere was amazing, just everyone was so pumped up, and we were just so focused in on the game, and we wanted to win so badly.
We're talking on Tuesday. Today's game has been postponed. Yeah. So you do have obviously some NESCAC games coming up on the weekend. A lot of road games coming up. What's Coach Montgomery said about that?
Great. We had a great weekend. We played well. I mean, we lost to Bowdoin, but we beat Colby, and we played 2 really good, solid games. But she's always focused on the next game. Great, we won. We beat Colby, but so what? We have 2 other big games coming up. That's old news now. We have better things to focus on. And it's just we achieve one thing. Okay, we have another goal set for us, and we're now focused on that. The weekend's over with, and so we're just focused on the next thing.
There you go, Meghan Graff, Female Bobcat of the Week. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
The men's basketball team fell at Bowdoin on Friday before earning its first conference win of the year Saturday by defeating Colby 81-71. The Mules entered the contest at 9-2 on the year, but Bates used a big first half to go up by 11, and the Bobcats held on from there. Junior Jeff Spellman poured in 15 points and pulled down a team-high 8 rebounds in the win. Spellman averaged 14.3 points per game over the break, and he leads the Bobcats in scoring on the season. And Jeff Spellman is our male Bobcat of the week.
First two NESCAC games of the year this weekend. Loss at Bowdoin and then a complete turnaround and a win at Colby. What changed?
I mean, it's tough to pinpoint exactly what changed. I mean, I think it's just a testament to our attitude as a team. You know, we've had a really tough season up to this point. But, you know, we were able to stick through it and, you know, just listen to our coaches and really believe in each other. I think our first game at Bowdoin, we kind of caught a guy on a really tough night, a career night for him and Jack Simons. And I think, you know, we look up and he has like almost 30 points in the first half. And, you know, we typically don't match up very well against a team like Bowdoin. They're bigger and they like to slow pace, and that's not what we do. We know we're trying to speed up. But, you know, it's tough to say exactly what changed, but I know in Colby our attitude was, you know, we would have thought that we won the game before. You know, we didn't, there was no, you know, no one gave up. And that's really what I saw.
Sure, and we saw Colby earlier this year, Alumni Gym. They like to shoot a lot of threes. How do you approach that defensively?
You know, we try to make all their threes contested. We try to run them off the line. You know, we want to get them into, you know, taking tough twos. Obviously, you don't want to give up layups at the rim. But, you know, we try to mix up our defensive looks. You know, we mixed in like a 1-3-1 zone at the beginning of the game. We opened the game up with, I think, like two steals to start the game. So that obviously changed the course of the entire game. But, yeah, we try to run them off the three-point line and get them into contested twos.
And what was the feeling like on the bus after the game? Was it relief? Was it like, let's go, let's play again?
Yeah, you know, we talked about this whole, you know, as we kind of went on the first half of the season. There's really two parts of our season. You know, we got the first section, which is mostly made up of, you know, non-league games, which, you know, if you do well enough, you potentially get a at-large bid. But at this point, that's not going to happen. So we know that we need to perform at a very high level in NESCAC play. So, you know, I think, you know, there's obviously a sense of relief there. You know, if you can split most NESCAC weekends, you know, go 1 win and 1 loss, then you leave yourself in a pretty good position to get a 25th game, and that's been our goal. So, you know, we were happy, obviously.
Terrific. And then Tom Coyne back in the lineup. He was hurt for most of the non-conference. What's it like to have a fellow guard like him who can score?
Oh, man, it's great. You know, he provides such an offensive relief for us. You know, he stretches the floor so well. You know, the defense has to worry about him. You can't leave him. You have to have a body on him, because if he gets an inch of space, it's going up, and more than likely it's going in.
For sure. And then for you, you know, 8 rebounds also against Colby. You're not that tall. How are you getting all those rebounds?
You know, I think I have the athletic ability to get rebounds, and, you know, I've been really focusing on that this year. I think the last few games I kind of strayed away from it. It seems more like a conscious choice for me if I can just, you know, remind myself every possession, because in the past, you know, I've played in some systems where I'm just kind of running. As soon as the shot goes up, I'm kind of going out, you know, get into a wing or a corner. But now I just got to remind myself to go back, and, you know, I'll bring the ball up a lot so we can just start our offense a lot easier if I'm the one to go get the rebound.
Sure, yeah. A lot of the offense obviously runs through you. What's it like to have? I mean, I don't know. Do you feel pressure? Do you embrace that?
Yeah. You know, I don't feel pressure at all. You know, it's just like whatever the team needs. Like, I'm just going to be willing to do it, and I wouldn't say that the offense runs through me. You know, we just, you know, whatever the best look is for us, that's what we're going to get.
Well, as the guy who brings it up, though, what do you see your role as in terms of, you know, starting the possession? You know, in terms of, are you working with Furbush calling the plays? How does that dynamic work?
Yeah, I mean, we usually have like a few. It's kind of like football in the sense that our first few calls are going to be set. You know, it's an unpredictable game, so it's not necessarily set, but we try to have, you know, an outline of what we're going to do. And like I said before, like, we're a team that really wants to push pace and tempo. So, you know, if I can go back and get that rebound, and we're just going to go right into our fast break. There's nothing going to be said about it. You know, we're just going to play and get comfortable with each other. I think that's starting to happen.
Terrific. So off the court, I interviewed Cody Greenhalgh a few weeks ago, and he mentioned that you and him have teamed up on some movies, some films. He says you're really good with the camera. How did that develop?
You know, I didn't know Cody our first year. He was playing football, and then we started to, you know, he reached out to me and said he wanted to play basketball, and, you know, I found out that he was a pretty damn good player. And he's a great kid off the court, too. We've become really close. You know, he's a rhetoric major, I'm myself studio art major, and I'm really interested in film. Obviously, he is as well. And, you know, we've just, you know, we started to try to figure out what classes we could take together and maybe, you know, work together, and that's what we've done. We've made some short videos, some short films that I'm really proud of, actually.
Terrific. Studio art, what's that major like?
It's really nice for me. It's there's two sections of the art and visual culture major. You can do the art history or studio art. So obviously I take majority studio art courses. But I'm mainly focused in photography and film, and those have just been really two big interests of mine for a while now.
Do you also take art history though?
Yeah, I do have to take some art history courses, and those have actually been really interesting. I've found them way more interesting than I thought I would have.
I gotta tell you something. I took art history twice in college, and I dropped the class both times. Could not handle it. What's the key to succeeding in those classes?
Especially at Bates, there's such a broad spectrum of the courses you can take in art history. You really got to find something that you're going to be interested in. I've been in some that I wasn't as interested in, but then there's some that I've found like it just really struck home with me.
Now back to the court. You mentioned Cody Greenwald reached out to you initially. Is that so? You were wanting to kind of bring him onto the team a little bit?
Oh yeah. I mean, I had actually known about him when he was in high school, and then I found out that he was coming to Bates. When I was coming to my freshman year, and I was like, "Is this kid playing basketball or not?" Like I wasn't even sure, but then I found out pretty quickly that he was just a really good football player. Yeah. So I kind of it was upsetting to find that out. I mean, selfishly, of course. Right. But yeah, no. Then I think our freshman year spring, he just kind of showed up to one of our, one of the pickup games we have, and just had it running from there.
Yeah, so he had, I believe, a bunch of points also against Colby. What's it like working with him on the court?
I mean, he's great. He's another guy who can really shoot the ball. He's super athletic. He gets out. He slashes. He's really like a complete player in my eyes. It just always helps when we can have another guy who can shoot and really just be a total offensive threat.
Now, I believe this year is a home-heavy schedule for you guys, right, in NESCAC play. What's that mean to you? Because obviously, a nice home court advantage at Alumni.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, obviously, the new renovations that went on inside Alumni, it's been great to play there so far, and I'm excited to get, some NESCAC games finally at home with the crowd. I think it's going to be great. It's really going to provide, our guys and our team with the support that we need.
Terrific. Jeff Spellman, Male Bobcat of the Week. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
The Alpine and Nordic skiing teams are loving the snow. Their seasons get underway this weekend at the St. Lawrence Carnival. To preview the Alpine skiing season, we talked to captains Griffin, Mueller, and Michael Cooper.
Well, Michael, we'll start with you. First of all, welcome back. I know last year you missed it due to an injury. You're obviously still in school and everything. But so coming back from an injury, what's that process been like?
It started off super slow. I mean, so I had back surgery, and the first 3 months after it was just do nothing. The surgeon was very adamant about me doing nothing, just because at 20 years old getting back surgery was not an ideal situation, first of all, but getting back very slow, getting back with physical therapy and everything, and slowly building up to getting back most of my strength, and we were able to do physical testing at the end, and was pretty much at where I was last year at this time. So really happy that it's gone successfully, the PT has been working and stuff, and so getting back on the snow is awesome as well. Didn't really miss a beat, so pretty excited to get back out into the circuit this year.
Excellent. And Griffin, you obviously competed last year, went to NCAAs, but the previous year you missed because of an injury. So what was your process like coming back?
Coming back, it was hard, but it was really helpful to get to cheer on my teammates from the sideline the whole year and just keep working at it slowly until it all paid off last year.
And last year, NCAAs, what was the experience like?
It was amazing. I was so happy just to get to be there and compete with those girls. I probably had never been happier. So.
And what did you learn from the experience maybe you're going to apply to this season? Because last year was kind of your first year of collegiate skiing.
What I learned last year was just to be myself and keep working at it slowly but surely, and just go out there every day and do the same things I do, and eventually, it'll all pay off.
Michael, let's talk about the men's team a little bit. Obviously, you being a senior captain, but you've got some, pretty fast teammates, right? I mean, Taggart Mueller's back, Griffin's brother. We've got Calvin Wilson, Joe Gillis, Max Schneider, and then Ari Van Buren, a first year, pushing the envelope, I hear.
Yeah, so I'm incredibly excited just with how the men's team is shaping up this year. So I missed all of last semester, so I wasn't around a lot. I obviously watched the results and everything on live timing. Yeah. But this was obviously the first time getting back onto snow, watching them all ski in person, and I was blown away. To be completely honest, I mean, everyone is skiing, especially in slalom right now. The men's team is incredibly strong. I mean, we got Joe Gillis, who's skiing really fast in slalom. One of our first years, Ari Van Buren, very fast in both slalom and GS. He's, I think, really pushing the team, so I'm excited to see how that plays out for the rest of the year. Of course, Max and Calvin too are skiing incredibly fast, and so it's really pushing me too. I'm getting back into skiing and stuff, whatnot, after injury, and it's definitely been, I think, really good for me, like having like definitely a younger team pushing how I can do like this year, and so I'm like really excited about like how they're all gonna perform this year, and obviously Taggart as well.
Right, for sure. And then, well, we're previewing the season now. We're previewing the carnival season. You guys have lots of races before that, and I understand there's been a lot of podium finishes. What's that season like? Not the preseason per se, but the season before the carnival season.
It's definitely pretty intense because it starts late in the fall, right around when we're finishing up finals and finishing up like final projects, kind of whenever. So our time on snow is like pretty sporadic, and we try to just like fit it in anywhere. So we're pretty tired at that point, but everyone is just so excited to be on snow, like getting into the season. And so like all of the races that we do beforehand, kind of like gear up or like get us geared up for like what the carnival season would be. But for the most part, like we're just so excited to be back on snow that we don't care that we're getting less and less hours of sleep, like, you know. So, but all like everyone like did very well in like a lot of the early season races on the men's side, and the women's side actually. We had like a lot of podium finishes like across the board. So it was good to see that early, like coming into the carnival season, especially with that much momentum. Like I know Michaela's super excited about it. I'm super excited. I know Griffin's super excited as well. And so, like, I honestly think it's going to shape up to be a pretty good carnival season for our team.
Great. And then, Griffin, you took the fall off and went all over the world, I understand. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so because I'm doing a 5th year, I got the opportunity to travel and train and coach a little bit. So it was super amazing. I was totally chasing snow, and got to go some really beautiful places. Started up in Canada, made my way down to New Zealand and Chile, and of course back home in Colorado. So I'm feeling so excited to be back with my teammates mostly, and have them to push me and see where it takes us.
Well, yeah, speaking of your teammates, it's certainly a young team, isn't it? I mean, you have a sophomore in Hannah West, a couple of first years who are really standing out. Tell us about them and how they're pushing you.
Yeah, we are really young, which is really exciting. The girls coming up we're so excited about because last year, like, I had Hannah to thank for making me faster. And this year with Daphne and Tess and Cassidy, we're just so excited that we get to move forward together. And being so young, like, we have so much room for improvement and so much time. I mean, time is fleeting, but it's going to be really great to see those girls move up the ranks.
Terrific. And on the men's team, you have an Olympian coming back, Dinos, representing Cyprus last year. What has he told you about his Olympic experience?
So I'm actually, Dinos and I are actually roommates this year, nice. So we've been able to like talk a lot about it and whatnot, but I know that he has talked a lot about just being in the presence of all these like amazing like world-class athletes that we look up to like our whole life, and he like just that experience of like being able to like, have them as peers, I think was something that definitely helped him. But you know, like it's just one thing, like we didn't talk about it too much, just like it was just kind of like something like he did, like he had that experience, and super excited that he had that, so to bring back and like kind of share that all with the younger guys on the team and everything. But yeah, no, it's really exciting to have him back. So it should be a good season with him as well.
It's challenging there because I know he was one of the last people to kind of go down the hill, right? Kind of, and I understand in Alpine skiing, if you don't have an advantageous number, the snow's pretty torn up. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, especially with the conditions this year too. I know that he was talked about the training days beforehand for the slalom, especially. The conditions were like kind of all over the place. They didn't know if they were going to have like ample snow, like if it was going to be ice or whatnot on like the actual race day. But I guess on the race day it kind of shaped up. But when you're running back the pack, especially with some of like the strongest athletes like on the circuit, like the course is just entirely chewed up. So I think at that point definitely like more of an experience.
Season starting this weekend, St. Lawrence Carnival. Are all the carnivals pretty similar, or are there some significant differences?
Well, they're all similar in who's there and what we're doing. Right. They're all in different places. This will be my first time at Whiteface. Okay. And then I feel like there's a little different vibes to all of them. But other than that, we're just out there to go fast. So.
Are some of the hills more challenging than others?
Yeah, so it's super cool that we get to be at the Whiteface, or at like in Lake Placid. I mean, it was one of the hosts of the Winter Olympic Games years ago, so it's fun to be like on that Olympic hill. Definitely a pretty challenging GS hill. It's a little bit longer, so it's running over a minute, so definitely pretty tired by the end of that. Pretty similar to like the UVM hill, both like super long GSs. We're going to UNH again this year. That's the Mittersill hill there. It's a new slalom hill that they've got, and that's a pretty intense slalom. Then we're rounding out the season at the Bates Carnival, so super excited about that. So that's obviously home field advantage for us because we're on that every single day.
Right.
But yeah, like all the hills, especially this year, are actually pretty challenging. So it should be a super good, like really good, like year just for skiing in general. Like we get to be on a lot of really exciting hills, and like all the course sets are always pretty interesting. So it should be good.
Yeah. Well, both of you are captains. What's the experience like, being a captain? What are some of your extra responsibilities, if any?
Really, we all kind of captain each other, but I would say just making sure communication is really clear and the ski room is clean is like up there. I didn't have the opportunity to be here this fall, so dryland and stuff was kind of on Michael. But it's definitely fun to get to try to lead like our young team.
Yeah, you're captain. You were captain last year too, but you obviously got injured. So what's like the captain experience for you?
This year it's been just being more. I mean, like Griffin said, just to kind of second that of we all try to be leaders for one another. Because if you like, it gets kind of interesting with like a dynamic where it's like you have one really like powerful individual or like an athlete that's because like everyone ends up being your peers. So what we like really try to do is like everyone's kind of responsible for one another and for themselves, and so it creates more of a team dynamic. Is something like we're looking forward to. Us being named the captains, it's more of we are like a resource that like any of the other members of the team can come to with any sort of questions, whether they be like academic, athletic, and then also running optional captains practices throughout the fall is like probably like one of the biggest stuff. But yeah, just being someone like that the rest of the team feels comfortable coming up to is probably our biggest role.
Before there's snow, what's the training process like? What are you doing?
So we're doing a lot of agility workouts, lots of time in the gym. We're doing a lot of like leg strength, core. Core is super important for skiing. And the men's team this year has been doing a lot of upper body, just for fun stuff. But it's like if you look at exactly right. So no, that's been a pretty funny thing that we've been focusing on a little bit. But it's been mostly it's like obviously like kind of like shorter end cardio. So if we're going on a run, it's going to be like no more than like 4 miles or so. Really trying to amp up like the volume in the gym and in like for agility. Like we'll run like circuits, like sprint workouts and whatnot.
Terrific. Griffin, has the team set any goals? Has Coach Holland set any goals for you?
We have set goals as individuals and like as a team. We're hoping for the women to break into that top 5 as a team a few times this year and see where that takes us. But other than that, we have running goals, for the rest of the team and mostly just improving and being there for each other throughout the season. So.
Great. On the men's side, besides the upper body part, any other goals?
Well, yeah, that's definitely obviously more of like a fun thing. No, so like I guess in the past we've had a lot of struggles with finishing, like getting 6 finishers to get like because the way it's ranked is that the top 3 finishers will get points for the team. Right. We have struggled with getting even 3 finishers in the past, but last year I know I believe we started off the Colby Carnival with everyone finishing. I was there watching, so it's fantastic to see that. Really boosted everyone's confidence, and I think rolling into this season, we're going to try to continue that. That's going to be one of our biggest goals, and then honestly, like getting more top 30s is probably the biggest goal for like our team, performance-wise.
There you have it, Griffin Mueller, Michael Cooper. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
And to preview the Nordic skiing season, we sat down with 2 team captains, Samantha Pierce and Carter Ross.
Samantha, we'll start with you. You're a senior. You were a captain last year as well. What's your career been like at Bates so far from a Nordic skiing perspective, and what does it mean to you to be a captain once again for the squad?
It's been a really fun past 3 years, going on the 4th. And this year we have a bigger team than last year, which is really nice. We have a full team, and everybody is looking fast and excited for the racing season to start, and to get a little more snow on the ground.
Sure. So I know Nordic skiing, when there's not a lot of snow on the ground, how do you go about training? How do you adjust to that? Because we've had some snow, but not a ton necessarily.
Yeah, we do a lot of dryland training, so running, and we have these things called ski ergs, where you basically just pull two things down for a while, and it's pretty dull, but
gets the job done.
Yep. And spinning and biking and lifting and things like that.
Terrific. Well, Carter, the men's team is young, sophomores and first years basically, and you were named one of the captains, or you were named the captain. So what does that mean to you to be the captain of the team as a sophomore?
Yeah, it's obviously a huge honor and a big responsibility. We had a bunch of history of really great captains, including Sam. So there's big shoes to fill, but I'm really excited for the opportunity. And it's nice being chosen, but it wasn't like the big thing for me. I just want to see the team do well and want to see my teammates succeed and want to do well for myself, and being captain is just another part of that. So,
Sam, tell us how you first got into Nordic skiing.
So, in elementary school, my class, my gym class, was actually just a skiing class in the winter. So we'd just go out, and everybody would strap on their short little skis and ski around the backwoods behind our school. So that kind of got me excited about it. And then I joined the team in middle school and high school, and loved it.
And what led you to Bates?
I really liked. I knew I wanted to ski in college, so that kind of narrows the field down to the Northeast and the West. And I really liked the vibe of Bates, and Becky, our coach, was just really great in the recruiting process, and she's been a great coach for me, and I really like that.
Same question for you. How did you first get into Nordic skiing, and what led you to Bates?
Yeah, I started Nordic skiing in first grade. It was basically just a glorified play date at that point, though, just rolling around in the snow with your friends.
Yeah.
But I stuck with it all throughout middle school and high school. And similar to Sam, I knew I wanted to ski in college, and started the search and ended up coming to Bates sight unseen. But it's hands down the best decision I've ever made. And Becky's amazing, and I'm super happy here.
So sight unseen, what drew you to here, I guess?
I had a previous teammate, Leo Lukens, who was on the team. And he was just kind of like texting me. He was like, "Hey man, like, have you ever thought about coming to Bates?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know much about it, but I guess I'm thinking about it now." And then just started a dialogue with Becky over email, and the rest all kind of fell into place.
One question I always am interested about when it comes to skiing, whether it be Alpine or Nordic, you're off campus a lot, and by off campus I mean pretty far off campus. And so, how do you balance that with the academic rigors of the school like Bates?
It's tricky because our races happen Friday, Saturday, and so we leave on Thursday afternoon-ish. So we just try and have really good communication with professors about telling them well beforehand that we're missing classes and how to do the makeup work and get notes. And just developing a good relationship early on is really helpful.
Similar process for you?
Yeah, I would say another key aspect of getting the work done is that we're all in the same position. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got class and everybody has their academic responsibilities. So, when you see your teammates doing their work and getting it done, you're like, all right, like I need to do it too. And we all kind of hold each other accountable because you don't want anybody to not be able to race because of grades or something like that.
For sure. And then, Sam, you're one of the captains, Kaylin Woods being the other. Tell us about Kaylin, and obviously the year she had last year, just spectacular, right?
Yeah, she did so well. And we're so excited to hopefully see her do that again this year. She's really been a great leader on the team along with Carter. She's got a long legacy of Bates skiing, right. And so it's really fun to watch that happen.
And then, both of you being captains, how do you kind of work together to lead the team?
I think we have like a good relationship, and we are able to just kind of split the duties half and half, and our leadership styles are a little different, so that's kind of nice. So when, I don't know, we need somebody to really fire us up by having a great result, that's Kaylin. And she always says that really well.
Terrific. And then obviously her mom's the head coach, Becky Woods. What's Becky like as a head coach?
Oh, Becky's great. She's awesome. I can't say enough good things about Becky. She's nice to you when she needs to be, but she also can lay down the law and holds us accountable. And at the end of the day, like, that's what's most important. She really seems like she has a knack for getting the most out of all of her athletes. And Becky's great at figuring out what each person needs individually in order to help them succeed. Becky's great. I love Becky.
Terrific. I'm feeling the same for you, obviously.
Yeah.
And then goals this year. What goals have you set personally and for the team?
I think I just want to continue to improve over my previous years. I don't really have any set place goals necessarily because the field's always changing. But yeah, I would like to see the team. We were placing around 8th or 7th last year, and it would be great to see us move up this year.
How about on your side?
Yeah, I would echo what Sam said. The big thing for us is we always like to see improvement year to year, but also as the year goes on. So for me, I just want to continue building on last year and just keep improving throughout the season, and hopefully you can lay down some good results.
All right, St. Lawrence Carnival this weekend. Sam and Carter, thanks so much.
Thanks for having us.
While the skiing teams are outdoors, the track and field teams get their indoor season underway this Saturday at MIT. Two of their captains, Zack Campbell and Andrea Russo, join the Bobcast to look ahead at what should be an exciting year.
Well, Zack, we'll start with you. As a senior, you're a thrower. What did it mean to you to be named as one of the captains for the men's team?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. You know, there's quite a legacy being left behind of a lot of great throwers that I've been in contact with, you know, and so to be one of those guys selected as a captain, kind of leading the team and kind of just being that example, it means a lot to me, and I'm just trying to live up to those names that I've been really used to hearing and seeing.
And then, Dre, you play softball in the spring, but what does it mean to you for an indoor season to be a captain your senior year?
Yeah, it means a lot to me, and especially because we have such a long preseason, too, during the fall. And just to be part of the developmental aspect of all of the freshmen especially. We have a really talented crew this year, and just being there for as long as possible until I have to just kind of switch over during the spring. It does mean a lot to me, and just the relationships I've developed with other runners in the past are truly, truly meaningful.
What do you tell the youngsters the first years about what it takes to succeed at Bates Track and Field?
Dedication and definitely mental strength and toughness. Like, some of the workouts that were put through make you not feel good in the end, but it's worth it, because when you see your times coming out on Saturday after that first meet, you know you've worked hard and it's all paid off.
Zack talked off the air. There's some younger guys coming in throwing as well. Tell us about them.
Yeah, so we have a guy I'm really excited about, John Everett, coming to us from near Boston area, and he comes from a school that we've had a lot of success from. Sean Enos went there, and Rich McNeil, a lot of those guys coming up. So really excited about him. He showed a lot of potential. And then we have another kid I'm really excited about, Alex Gailey, who's coming from California, never thrown before, but he just has the body for it, and he's a pure natural just watching him. So it's really exciting. Very talented crew and the younger guys.
I'll ask the same question I asked Dre. What do you tell the youngsters?
It's a lot of patience, because you come out of high school and maybe, you were the guy at your school throwing 50 feet, but then the shot gets bigger and so do your competitors, and it's like, it definitely is going to hit you at first. I remember my first meet, I was like, I'm not cut out for this at all, but you got to really keep grinding, keep hitting the gym, and eventually you'll be one of those big guys that everyone's like, whoa, I can't compete with him,
And as a senior, what are some of the goals you set for yourself?
Goals, I think just trying to be a great leader for the guys and being an example. Coach always says that I'm not the biggest person ever, I'm under 6 feet, and that can't be said for a lot of the other throwers, so I got to work that much harder for everybody, and I'm trying to give that exact same example to everybody else, try and do everything properly the right way and work hard for it, and then the results will come. So now it's time for me to chase my results, try and get to those bigger meets that maybe I haven't been able to get to in the past.
Terrific. Dre, any goals you've set for yourself this year?
Pretty much just be better than myself last year. Just continue to improve on my own times, and then also just to be a good support system for everyone else on the team. Like, yes, that comes with the role as a captain, but I do take that to heart, and I do see that as even like a more important role than bettering my own self. Because in the end, if the team is all on the same page, has all the same goal, and making sure that everyone feels comfortable and confident, we as a team are going to succeed.
Terrific. And then obviously you are both captains, but there are other captains as well. So tell us about them.
So for the women, Aiden and Sarah Rothman, who are captains for cross country, joined us for indoor. And then with indoor, we also have Sarah Schulte, who's hurdles and sprints. And then Katie Hughes, who is also a thrower. She was a captain last year. So she's the one that's kind of been like helping us like organize, because we're a pretty big crew in terms of there being 5 captains, but if you see how big the team is too, kind of need all of us. But yeah, no, so it's been a really good dynamic working with them, and they're all very, very talented. I'm just honored to be running with them, but then also being a leader with them as well.
Terrific. Zach, tell us about the other men's captains.
Yeah, so we have Brendan Donahue, who's our only junior captain. He's a heptathlete, decathlete for us. He's a great guy working with everybody because he does so many different events, so he really has his hands in all the different pots. We have Mike Soma, who's running the mid-distance for us. Great guy, really friendly with everybody as well, so everyone really likes talking to him and looking up to him. And then we have Mark Fusco, who's coming from the cross-country team, working the distance, and he's always been like the guy for us in distance. When your spider's on the track, everyone's very excited to see him going, and the face he makes and all the energy he puts out there, so it's really great to have him be that guy with us,
Terrific. So this fall, obviously, there were the cross-country runners. Neither of you run cross-country, though, obviously. And so what were you doing this fall to prepare for the indoor season?
Yeah, so we had our fall track class, which was really exciting. We met about 3 times a week usually, and it was a great time to work on just general fitness. So we did a lot of the running with the runners, and then we'd split off and do our own thing, either in the weight room or getting some throws. We try to take advantage of the fall when we can, because in the winter we don't really get a chance to throw outside. So there's a lot of hammer throw, a lot of discus throwing, so that's always great just to enjoy the weather, and also just like a lot of get to know you stuff. It's a pretty small throwing group, so that's the time where we kind of make those connections.
Well, one of the women captains, you mentioned Katie Hughes. She's a thrower, so she works with you probably a lot, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Katie and I go way back. We lived on the same floor freshman year. We are great friends, so it's really nice to have her as a captain who's also done this before to kind of help me out every now and again and really settle the team down whenever we have to.
Terrific. So, Dre, this being your senior year, obviously you've been doing this indoor and then softball each year. If someone else came in and wanted to do the same thing, what would you tell them about the process?
I would tell them definitely do it. It's a unique experience because I feel like I just have like this huge family with the track team, like both men's and women's, because we are both very close with one another, and then I go to more of a smaller, intimate family during the spring. But it's funny to have those two dynamics, and it's one of those moments where I'm walking like down Alumni, for example, and I wave hi to probably like 10, 15 people. I'm not joking. And it's also good too because I feel the two sports really focus on different aspects. So with track, there are times where it's very individual, except in like relays, for example, but then it's a lot of self and individual betterment. Whereas with softball, like you cease thinking about yourself. It's all about your team, how you guys are doing. And then just like the competitions that come with both of them, the competitiveness associated with the two sports, it's pretty wild. Just go from like, okay, I'm running in a meet, like one race, here we go, to playing like a 7-inning game, 8-inning game. I don't know how many like innings it would be, like hopefully if it's a good game, but yeah. Right. But yeah, no, it's wild, and it's a really like it's a really unique experience, and I am so honored to have been able to do this, especially at Bates, because I know with all the other schools I was looking at going to, this was not an option, and this was probably the best choice I've ever made.
This year, what events are you doing indoor?
So this year, I'm primarily a 400 runner, and that's why I've been pretty much my whole track career, even in high school. And I also dabble in the 60 dash and the 2. So we're going to see how those go this year, but primary focus is always and will forever be the 400.
Excellent. Well, Dre touched on why she kind of came to Bates, an opportunity to do softball and indoor track. Why did you make the decision back when you were in high school to come up here to Bates?
Yeah, I actually had no intention of joining the track team at all. I wasn't recruited out of high school or anything like that. I didn't even compete my final spring in high school. I had a pretty bad ankle injury from playing some pickup basketball. So I was like, I'm done with this track thing. But then I came here and I visited some friends. I had a kid from my high school who had come to Bates and been on the track team here, and he said, you should really check it out, talk to coach. We have a great legacy of throwers here and you'll love the guys. So I came for a visit, hung out with all the track guys, and I was really like, these are some really cool people. It's a really nice community and everything. I talked to coaches like, you definitely have the numbers to walk on and join our squad if you want to. So Bates seemed like a really great place just from the visit, and then meeting the track people seemed like a really great team to want to join. And like I said, I would never look back on it any differently at all. The track team's been the closest group of friends that I've had since being at Bates, and really just some people I can depend on no matter what.
And then the throwers within the track team, obviously, I'm sure D-Ray was a model for you. Who else did you kind of follow in their footsteps when you came here?
Yeah, so when I first came, the captain, it was Nick Margitza, and he had quite a story. It was a great guy, very lovable, just, very, very friendly. So I was very happy to have him be like my introduction to the track team. And like you said, D-Ray is just a great big personality, so that's fun. Tom and D was also there with him, and he's like a lot of guidance, teaching me how to get after it in the weight room, and also like more of the academic side and the throwing side. So those are the guys that I really credit for like being the people that I look up to and think about when I think of track. It's crazy thinking that I'm a senior now, and maybe the freshmen will look at me the same way, maybe not, but looking at them and thinking about them, they were just so above in my mind.
How excited do you see what John Rex does this year? Because I know there's a lot of excitement about him, right?
Yeah, Rex has been getting after it the entire summer. You follow him on Instagram, anything, and he is just...
I'm excited.
Yeah.
You're excited now?
I'm excited too.
Yeah, the kid was an absolute workhorse. And that's great, to have someone pushing you like that. So I'm really excited to see what he can do, and also just like working with him so far during this past semester in the fall, going into the winter, getting a lot of tips here and there, because when you're working on your own, you do a lot of things that you think are going to like help you out in the throw, and you have like maybe your dad or something, some coaches look at you, but when you have like your other teammates who are really there giving you those tips, he gives me tips, I give him tips, it only improves everything. And also, like you said, having that competition with each other a little bit too is very nice. So I'm very excited to see what Rex does this season.
Excellent. And Dre, who else maybe, Rex obviously, everyone's very excited about him, but other athletes on the women's side or on the men's side, you're looking to see maybe have a breakthrough year for the team.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how Aiden does this year, because she had a fabulous season last year and then came off of a strong cross-country season. And she's one of my good friends, and I'm just so excited to see how she does. But also, I would say just in general, the women's distance team, all the distance runners, I am stoked to see how they do. I mean, yeah, they're probably sad they don't get to run through some hills and stuff like that now, and they're stuck on an indoor track after running twice as many laps as they do outdoors. But I just want to see them finish indoor strong, and then pick it back up for outdoor, and just really taken all the momentum from cross-country season into this season, too.
All right, Dre, Russo, Zack, Campbell, thanks so much for previewing the indoor track and field season. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
The men's basketball team hosts Thomas College Tuesday at 7 p.m. Tuesday is also the final home match of the year for the squash teams. They host Wesleyan at 6 o'clock, and a free fan bus departs Commons for the Squash Center at 5:30. The men's basketball team is home Friday and Saturday for games against Middlebury and Williams, and you can find the complete schedule for all Bates sports at GoBatesBobcats.com. And we'll recap all this week's action next time on the Bates Bobcast.